what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to the Skull Island Vlogs. I hope you guys had an excellent weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed G-Fest and saw me there. Now, let's sit back and relax and take a look at Episode 4, Breakfast Served for a Kong. God, the puns are terrible in these titles. But what does this episode entail where we left off last time? Really not much. This is more so just we've established sort of the survival of Skull Island, how we got here, the creatures we're dealing with. Now it's about food! Now it's about essentially trying to make ends meet on this thing, which is interesting. I don't think we've ever seen, like, sort of the food aspects of feeding on this island. And most of the time it's just, you know, hunting other prey. Everybody here is a predator. So what happens is in this episode is that we open with Charles and Mike. They're with Annie, and Dog goes up a tree and just never comes back. And then what happens is there's a dodo bird who attacks the two, and Charlie and Max are thinking, okay, we can take this guy out nilly-willy. There's a lot of comedy in this episode. And as it's charging towards them, this big giant blue dodo bird thing, Dog slams down and tosses the thing around, and they eat it as essentially chicken for breakfast. So they are hungry. They've had their food. They're able to cook it, which is cool. So I do like that aspect that we do see more of the what people on Skull Island eat. We don't really see that much in terms of the movies, which is interesting. Meanwhile, our group is now trying to figure out their next plan of operation, which is to find a second area for a rescue or rendezvous point to make communication, so they have to go up this mountain, but they also have to find Annie. They have to find the girl, and they have to find the two kids. So they're all starting to interconnect with each other. Meanwhile, Charlie and Mike and Annie actually end up in a bug pit with some weird spider creature, but one of them comes across, I'm not kidding, a French rapier, which is actually kind of cool because it's like, okay, so there have been ships that have shipwrecked on Skull Island before. There have been, like, almost 17th century people who have probably ended up crash landing one of their tall ships, and so they went on the island, they all died. But there's, like, a cool French rapier this guy finds, instantly breaks it, and they're like, man, we could have sold that, would have been worth a bit, which, yeah, it's a 17th century rapier. Of course you'd probably sell it, but it feels very reminiscent of sort of, this is their version of the spider pit scene per se, but it's kind of just very mediocre. Dog comes in to take care of business, and then Annie finds out that the people with guns are around, and she's going to try to stop them because in their history, Dog got shot, essentially, by these people. So she has a very big vendetta against them. And our episode ends with Dog on the hunt for these guys. Meanwhile, you have that firebird thing, that red bird from the last episode, watching over them, and that's how we end the series. Or, not the series, but this episode. This is sort of a quickie, because, again, I am shooting 2 episodes at once to make time for G-Fest, which is going to come up this weekend, but this is after the fact, so you'll probably know my thoughts during the event. But overall, this was an okay episode. I did like how they established the food supply chain and how things run on that part of the island. I do like that there's more creatures to involve. This is also Kong's second appearance on the show, where we see his hand comes in to grab a tree, and it just shows the scale of how big he is, and he is pretty big. He's a pretty big monkey this time around. So that was cool to see. But I will admit, this is where it's starting to, honestly, I'll just say this, the show is kind of padded, and it is a little slow to get to the point. Thankfully, the episodes are relatively short, but at the same time, it's like, we want to see more of Kong at this point. And it does take a while to deliver, and so far, the characters are just mediocre. They're nothing like the Skull Island crew from the movie, but yeah, they're okay at least. But if you're not getting into it at this point, you might as well, I think, maybe, like, either you can keep going or you skip. But because I'm a Kong perfectionist, I have to finish the show. I will admit, like, so far, out of all the Netflix Kong shows, this is definitely the best one. But I think that's my problem with Kong on television in any media, is that it's very hard to continue a continuous story through television form with something like King Kong. It just doesn't lend itself for that, and maybe that's why most of these shows I've watched, mostly in animated form, don't really stick with me this well. But because of the animation quality of these guys, it's the same Castlevania team, and it is connected to the MonsterVerse, I'm kind of okay with it. So this one is a good 5 out of 10. This is okay. But I want to see where the story goes, how it continues, and so on. So let me know your thoughts on
breakfast fit for our calling in the comments below. Don't forget to support our Patreon, just all the more we'll get you early access to all of our content as well as other special features. Tune in next time where we go into episode 5 called Doggone It. These freaking titles. Whoever's coming up with these titles, your puns are so cringe, but I love you for that. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Take it easy. But what about second breakfast? Alright, I'm done. Bye for now.